Do you feel like you eat healthy, but you just eat way too much and it is blocking you from achieving your goals? Today, I'm going to be diving into this topic and giving you my best strategies so that you can eat healthy and make sure that you're getting the results you want. I'm Sheila Viers, and I help women to break free from yo-yo dieting and self-sabotage so they can rock their dream body and feel amazing in their skin. And this is a topic that I hear women talking about, honestly, fairly often, where they feel like they're making changes, they're eating healthier, but the reality is that they're still just eating too much and they're not getting the results that they're looking for. And this is really common. A lot of times, for women especially, we struggle with emotional eating and binge eating, and even if we're making changes in what we're eating, we have to work on this emotional stuff that's happening in the background to really get those sustainable results. So today, I want to share with you some of my best tips. I'm going to give you some resources and some things to check out because honestly, awareness is the first step in positive change. You have to become aware that you're doing something, obviously, before you can change it. So first, let's talk about what you're actually eating. So when you say you're eating healthy, what types of things are you eating? Are you eating tons of leafy greens? Are you eating tons of vegetables? Or are you finding that you're eating a lot of maybe gourmet type healthy foods that are really high in nut butters or nuts, or maybe they have lots of like different types of flour? A lot of times when people are making healthy changes, they'll say, try something like gluten-free, for example. And so then they'll say, oh, I'm gluten-free. But then they start using all of these different flours and they're making all of these different treats and muffins and things like that. And they don't realize that a lot of those products, especially if they have a nut meal base, so it's made from like almond meal or something like that, it's actually very calorically dense. It's very high in calories, high in fat. So even if you're eating healthier, you might be eating a lot more than you think you're eating. So I'm not saying don't eat those things. What I am saying is be mindful. What I teach my clients is to make sure that they are eating an 80-20 split. So what I mean by that is 80% of the foods that they're eating are coming from whole food sources. These are the types of foods that are primarily straight from the ground, lots of vegetables, fruits, lean meats, things like that, that only have a couple different ingredients in the actual meal preparation or in the recipe. And then you can incorporate those other things like the muffins, the treats, and things like that into your daily meal plan, but you have that in the 20% bucket. This is also something that I talk about often in my 3 non-negotiables, and I will link up that post below so you can read about exactly what I'm talking about when I say that you need to create some structure around what your 3 food-related non-negotiables are. And this is so key because this lifestyle is not about restriction or deprivation, and it's about nourishing your body well so that whatever results that you achieve, you'll actually be able to maintain them for the long term. So to wrap up my point there, if you're eating packaged foods, even if they're made from healthier options, make sure that you're looking at the ingredients. Make sure that you're looking at the nutritional label and really understand exactly what it is that you're eating. So another question that I have for you is, are you eating enough fiber? I actually made a whole nother video all about how to know when you're eating enough or even too much fiber. But what I want you to just really be mindful of is, are you eating enough of these whole food sources that have high fiber, that are going to fill you up and keep you satisfied? If you find that you're eating a lot of foods that don't have much fiber and then you're really hungry afterwards, maybe you need to switch some things up there. A similar question to ask yourself is, am I drinking enough water? I tell my clients that each person individually has to decide what actual amount of water is that's best for them. So if you were to ask, well, how much water is enough water? It's kind of a really individual thing. I mean, if we were to sort of generalize, I would say aim for a gallon of water a day, but if you are currently drinking 16 ounces of water, it's kind of unrealistic for you to expect yourself to jump up to a gallon of water a day. So just take baby steps towards that sort of goal and set milestones along the way so that you are just gradually increasing your water intake and making sure that you are properly hydrated, especially if it's really hot where you live, especially if you work out and sweat a lot. There's a lot of different things that can factor in, but ultimately, water and hydration can be a huge piece of the equation. So now that we've covered some of the more action-oriented questions, I want to dive deeper with you because there are some more questions to ask yourself that are more of on an emotional level. So number one is, are you eating because you're bored? A lot of times we emotionally eat or binge eat, and I know that those words can have a very negative connotation around them, and I teach my clients that emotional eating is something that everybody does at some point. I mean, no one really ever needs cake. We use cake to celebrate, right? It's not a bad word. Emotional eating and binge eating is really just an indicator to pay attention. If this is something that's happening for you on a regular basis, a pattern that's showing up consistently for you, all it is it's telling you, hey, pay attention, there's something going on here. And what I have found is that a lot of times when people are consistently eating or using food to comfort or distract or find enjoyment in life, that's because they're not really enjoying their life. And that can be a tough pill to swallow. If you feel like that is true for you, I have tons of resources on my website, and specifically my Feel Amazing 6-week Jumpstart course that can absolutely help you to get out of that pattern and into a life that truly feels meaningful. But that really is one of the biggest questions to ask yourself is, am I finding joy in my life, or am I bored and I'm using food to have something interesting going on, something to do? Is food helping me to procrastinate doing something that I just don't want to do? And this is a huge aha. There's lots of different things that you can do to start shifting this, but really asking yourself, why am I emotionally eating? Why am I turning to something outside of myself like food for comfort or distraction? But once you start giving yourself permission to really look at it and kind of shine that light in those dark places, it can be so freeing. So if this is something that you want to talk more about, absolutely come join me in my private Facebook group and let's start a discussion around this. We already have an amazing community of women there who are openly talking about this stuff. They're talking about the things that are blocking them in life, the emotional eating or feeling like a control freak, like you have to manage everything all of the time, or holding yourself to this standard that's so high that not even Superwoman herself could reach it or meet it. And this is what we do to ourselves. And this is why patterns like this show up in our lives. This is not something to be ashamed about. This is a big part of why I do this work, is to help women to understand that they are not alone and that life is not supposed to be this go, 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 get stuff done, cross things off the to-do list so that we can just get through to the next day. That's not why we're alive. Life is supposed to be meaningful and fun, and food can be a part of that. But if you find yourself using it in ways that are not serving you, then that's just your wake-up call, right? And we all have those. I've had plenty in my life too. So if you're interested in having a conversation like that, come join us in the private Facebook group. It's the Rock Your Dream Body and Dream Life community. And you can join that group by going to sheilaviers.com/FB. I hope to see you there. And if you like this video, please hit the like button on YouTube. Please share it with a friend that you know needs to hear this message. And I look forward to connecting with you in the group and supporting you as you move through this amazing, eye-opening, awakening journey. Take care.